I don't need to tell you who Michael Jackson was. In this video, I will talk about Michael Jackson's persistent death. I will try to talk about facts instead of conspiracy theories, so that you can understand the whole story easily. Michael Jackson, the world's most famous performer and king of pop, died on June 25, 2009. The cause of death was an injection of a drug called propofol. Michael Jackson's doctor, Conrad Murray, said that he had been injecting Michael Jackson with propofol for the past 60 days. Because Michael Jackson had trouble sleeping. Michael Jackson died at the age of 50 due to the overdose of this injection. Dr. Conrad Murray was arrested and sentenced to 4 years in prison, but he was released after only 2 years in prison. But friends, the story is not that simple. There is no doubt that Michael Jackson's life was in grave danger before his death. Michael Jackson thought he would be killed. On June 27, 2013, Michael Jackson's eldest son Prince Jackson said in an interview that Michael Jackson often used to talk to someone on the phone and then started crying. And then he used to tell his son that they are going to kill me. I will tell you later in the video who Michael Jackson used to talk to on the phone. Not only this, but Michael Jackson's 19-year-old daughter Paris Jackson claimed last year that Michael Jackson has been killed. And her whole family knows this. She said that Michael Jackson often told her that he would be killed soon. In addition, surprisingly, just a few weeks before his death, Michael Jackson had given 13 letters to a very close friend of his, in which he wrote that some people want to kill me and I'm worried about my life. Michael Jackson's friend, who is a businessman, was present with Michael Jackson at that time. And Michael Jackson himself had given him this letter. Friends, all these things prove that Michael Jackson's life was in grave danger and he knew that he would be killed. But who was in danger? Let's discuss it now. Friends, very few people know that Michael Jackson was also a businessman. And this became the biggest problem in his life. When his album Thriller was released and it became a big hit, Michael Jackson became rich. He thought at that time that this money should be invested somewhere. Like other artists, he did not want to spend the last part of his life in poverty. Michael Jackson invested all this money in buying a company called ATV Music Publishing. This company had the rights to the songs of many famous singers, in which Elvis Presley and the famous band Beatles songs were also included. This was a music catalog of 4,000 songs which was very expensive. And Michael Jackson had become the owner of these 4,000 songs. If anyone wanted to use these famous songs anywhere, then Michael Jackson had to benefit from it. In 1984, Michael Jackson bought ATV Music Publishing for $47.5 million. Which was a very big amount. After some time, he started taking advantage of these songs. And he sold a Beatles song Revolution to the famous sports brand Nike for $5 lakh, which Nike had to use in its advertisements. Michael Jackson had become a powerful figure in the music industry. But after this, Michael Jackson started doing something that the powerful people who controlled the music industry did not like. Michael Jackson started giving some singers their rights to their songs. Most of them were black singers. Because Michael Jackson felt that at that time black singers were not allowed to come up in the music industry. Apart from this, Michael Jackson started doing a lot of good things with his music catalog, which the Western music industry did not like. This is the power that keeps all the artists under its control. And Michael Jackson was seeing this power coming out of his control. Friends, I did not want to talk about any conspiracy theory. But if you look at the cover of Michael Jackson's most famous album Dangerous, then you will see an eye on the right side, which is actually the sign of Illuminati. What this eye is doing on this cover, I leave it to you. Anyway, let's move on. Everything was going well for Michael Jackson. But then in 1995, a company called Sony Music contacted Michael Jackson and offered to mix Sony Music with Michael Jackson's ATV Music. In return, Sony Music was ready to give Michael Jackson $95 million. Michael Jackson accepted this offer. And now half of the rights to his songs were owned by Sony Music. And Michael Jackson also had a right to the songs bought by Sony Music. Along with this, Sony Music also took the responsibility of promoting Michael Jackson's songs. Friends, but after a while, a war broke out between Michael Jackson and Sony Music. Michael Jackson thought that Sony Music was not promoting him properly and is lying to him that his albums are not being sold. Because Sony Music wanted to weaken Michael Jackson financially, so that they sell 50% of the company to Sony Music. And this is where the destruction of Michael Jackson's life began. During this time, a case was also filed against Michael Jackson for making children a target of injustice, in which Michael Jackson had to pay $20 million to the court for settlement. Michael Jackson's public image was destroyed. No company wanted to associate its name with Michael Jackson. And Michael Jackson was also financially very weak. Michael Jackson kept saying that this was a conspiracy against him. And he blamed Tony Motola, the owner of Sony Music, for this. So much so that he also launched many rallies against Sony Music and called its owner Tony Motola a devil. Friends, the root of the real chaos was that music catalog, in which the rights of millions of precious songs were included, which was half with Michael Jackson and half with Sony Music. Sony Music also wanted to buy half the music catalog from Michael Jackson, with which Michael Jackson was helping many artists. And for the same reason, many forces of the music industry were unhappy with Michael Jackson. During this time, Michael Jackson also recorded his song "They Don't Really Care About Us." This song was actually made by Michael Jackson against the same power that ruled the music industry. During this time, Michael Jackson was also drowning in heavy debts. Although he was still half the owner of Sony Music, but Michael Jackson was not ready to sell his property. During this time, Michael Jackson was offered a world tour by an entertainment company called Egg. 10 shows were included in this world tour, and these shows were going to make a lot of money, which would strengthen Michael Jackson financially. Michael Jackson signed this contract under severe pressure. But then AEG asked him to do 50 shows. Michael Jackson clearly refused. His health was also not good, and according to his sister LaToya Jackson, Michael Jackson also felt that he would be killed on the stage. Friends, this company called AEG started pressurizing Michael Jackson that he should do 50 shows for him. And during this time, Dr. Conrad Murray was hired by AEG as Michael Jackson's doctor. This was the same doctor I told you about in the beginning of the video, who gave Michael Jackson an overdose of a drug called propofol, which killed Michael Jackson. This drug called propofol was illegal. It could not go out of the hospital. But Dr. Conrad Murray started giving these injections to Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson also started taking these injections. Here the question arises that why did Dr. Conrad Murray start giving these injections to Michael Jackson? Friends, according to some people, Dr. Conrad Murray was just a pawn, and behind him were the same powerful people, because of whom Michael Jackson was in danger. As I told you, these powerful people wanted to buy his songs and music catalog from Michael Jackson. And maybe because of this, different cases were made on Michael Jackson, because of which his image was destroyed. These songs and music catalogs were a threat to Michael Jackson's life. I am not saying this myself, but according to Michael Jackson's sister LaToya Jackson, Michael Jackson used to tell her that because of this music catalog of mine, one day I will be killed. According to this, immediately after Michael Jackson's death, different powerful people started talking about buying this music catalog. For these powerful people, a dead Michael Jackson was much more valuable than a living Michael Jackson. Because Michael Jackson did not want to sell his precious songs. Michael Jackson used to tell this to his close people. Friends, at the beginning of the video I told you, Michael Jackson used to talk to someone on the phone and say that these people will kill me. According to his son Prince Jackson, Michael Jackson used to talk to the owner of AEG company Randy Phillips on the phone and say that these people will kill me. The same AEG company, which was forcing Michael Jackson to do 50 shows, and who had kept Dr. Conrad Murray as Michael Jackson's doctor. Michael Jackson's precious music catalog, after his death, went to his estate, in which his mother and his children were part. Surprisingly, the Sony Music Company, which Michael Jackson hated, was sold to Sony Music only after 9 months of Michael Jackson's death. And along with that, the rights of Michael Jackson's unreleased songs were also sold to Sony Music. Maybe that's why Michael Jackson used to say that these powers are more beneficial to me than my survival. Friends, the question is why Michael Jackson's own daughter Paris Jackson has to say that her family knows why Michael Jackson was killed? Was the reason for Michael Jackson's death his music catalog, which contained millions of precious songs? Why was this music catalog sold to Sony Music, which Michael Jackson hated? And was Dr. Conrad Murray actually made Michael Jackson's doctor for this? I leave this decision to you. Friends, I hope you liked this video. Do like and share this video. And subscribe to this channel. Also, click on the bell icon so that you get notified of all the new videos on this channel.